Jim, you need to get a haircut.
Why does he need to get a haircut? There we go.
This is a presentation of Northeast Streaming Sports.
He was a Giant, and he was a Cowboy. Now these two former rivals have joined forces to bring you the most insightful, perceptive, and controversial sports talk podcast in America. Former Dallas Cowboys defensive end Jim Jeffcoat locks horns with former New York Giants wide receiver Byron Williams. And now, here's Byron Williams and Jim Jeffcoat.
Good evening, Byron.
Well, good evening, Jim. How you doing?
I'm doing great. You know, Cowboys won. I'm doing great.
Yeah, Cowboys won. Of course, the Giants won. The Giants won. All the people across America didn't even pick the Giants.
I picked them. I'm 6. I picked every game correctly.
Oh, you must have picked it on another show. You didn't pick it with
No, I was setting you up. I just want you to think that it wasn't Giants.
But now, for real, the wild card weekend, you know, was good and exciting. I mean, great things happened. I mean, it was a good week.
Yeah, it was a good week. But there's other things. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But some things that happened that's kind of interesting. First of all, Aaron Rodgers, he gets on a podcast, which he should come on our podcast.
He should. We got to get him on here.
But he was saying that if he comes back, he wants to be the MVP of the league. And I'm thinking, wait a minute. The MVP of the league, what about winning the Super Bowl? So Rob Gronkowski called him out on that and said, what are you talking about? You won the MVP 4 times.
Right.
Now you're talking about winning it again. What about your team? What about winning another? You only won 1 Super Bowl.
Right.
So what do you think about that?
Yeah, I think MVP is just the most popular player, and plus you have to have a good year. But winning the Super Bowl, you mean you done everything right. I mean, you were there for the team, you was the leader. And then if you get the Super Bowl and then be the Super Bowl MVP, now that speaks volume.
Yeah, that's true. And that's what I think is the same thing. I think the things that'll last you, you know, individual players, yes, you win an MVP, that's going to be for the rest of your life. But for teams, winning a team honor of winning a Super Bowl and getting to that position, it's something that just doesn't last you a lifetime. It lasts everybody you play with because you remember those things.
And yeah, and then, you know, your teammates got something to say about you. You know, they get home in the offseason, they speak highly of you, and, you know, you did the right thing. You made the sacrifices. You did this. You did the little things in the locker room. You did the little things on the football field. And that speaks volume for who you are. It's about character. It's about teamwork. And, you know, sometimes winning the MVP, a lot of times some good players don't win the MVP.
That's true. That's true. Yeah. So that's something to look at. I just wonder, is he going to come back and work with those young players this year? Or is he going to do the same thing he did last year, never show up until camp?
I think it's so important that you come back and then help mature the guys, the younger players. I mean, they start playing good at the end. They won 4 or 5 games at the end. They got in the playoff hunt almost.
Yeah.
But that right there just goes to show you that Green Bay wasn't really that far off. You know, we talked about it a couple of weeks ago when they went over to across the pond to play the New York Giants. They lost that game, and then there was so much criticism flying back to Green Bay from that game. And I just think there wasn't nothing. No leadership, no. That's when he should have stepped up then because
exactly.
He could have rallied the troops.
Exactly. Instead of blaming everybody, it's on you. And the same thing, you know, you can say Tom Brady is one of the greatest players that ever played the game.
Right.
You can disagree with me, but I mean, his stats talk about. But he did the same thing. He knew that he was going to lose his security blanket in Rob Gronkowski. Right. He should have been there earlier. and he decided for 40 days that he was going to retire and then come back, and that's difficult. Plus, there were other issues. Obviously, their running game wasn't very good and things of that nature.
Right.
But that's on Tom, and he should know better.
Well, one thing I like about Tom Brady, he never blamed nobody. He always said me. And then, like you said, people don't realize he missed the tight end. I mean, that tight end just I mean, their offense, that was 30% of their offense, at least. He
didn't say it publicly, but Giselle would complain about the other players, and his new girlfriend, she complained about it. So he talking to somebody about it.
Well, but yeah, maybe that's in the other room. But at least he don't do it in the public, I guess. But, Tom Brady, I just think that, it's all about trying to win and get his team to rally around the truth. But I think
I highly doubt if there'll be another player that win that many Super Bowls as a quarterback.
Yeah.
And the question I got to ask is he'll be a free agent this year, we all know. But if you're, say, the New York Jets, or the Miami Dolphins.
No, I'm saying the Las Vegas Raiders.
Or even the Raiders. But do you take Tom Brady? Can the Raiders pay him? That's the question you got to ask.
I think they just let Derek Carr go, and I think they can pay it Tom Brady because they
let him go, but they have not released.
Yeah, they got to pay. Yeah, they got to pay some bonuses and stuff. But yeah, he I think that'll be a good with Josh. McDaniel that was with the Patriots. He there. I just think it might be a good fit.
You think so, huh?
Yeah.
Do you think he has enough left in his tank? He's 45. He'll be 46 by the time the season.
Did you know last week he threw 60 times?
And that's not good.
That's
not a winning combination.
That was the offense, though. But he got Jacobs in the backfield. He got a running back. So I think that'll be.
It's not a running back. That's the key to Tom Brady is the protection, because you can't. He's got to have, at his age and at this part of his career, he has to have protection up front. Because
just think about Tom Brady mindset. He might just see if he can go to another team and win a Super Bowl with that particular team.
Yeah, he probably will. But now people are saying, like you said, Las Vegas, Miami, the Jets, and some of those things. But I don't know. I'm not going to spend a lot of money on Tom Brady now because he's one play away from, being injured. And then you got a problem still.
Well, some of these teams around the league are spending a lot of money on coaches. One season here and they out, 2 seasons they out. So it's almost the same thing, even though the coaches don't make over $25 million. But
yeah, but that might change soon. That's funny that you spoke about that. Sean Payton, they said, wants between 20 to 25 million per year, and he wants a 4-year contract. Sean Payton had a tremendous quarterback in Drew Brees. He won 1 Super Bowl, and I like Sean. I work with Sean. Sean is a really good guy. But imagine what Mike Tomlin or Bill Belichick would be in this atmosphere if coaches win one there. I mean, if they can only win 1 Super Bowl.
Yeah, I mean, it don't make no sense. And I think at some point you got to put a cap on all this, And I just think they run in the game. The game is not being fun. It's all about getting paid, getting out, moving around. No inconsistency, no camaraderie, no team. I mean, you just think about what it looked like, and I just think now you're playing loosey-goosey. And I think it's all about getting established, winning the fans over, because now you're driving up the ticket prices for the fans.
That's what I agree with you. And Sean McVay only won 1 Super Bowl, and Peyton would be making $10 million more than he makes. Cliff Kingsbury never. I work with Cliff too,
right?
And he couldn't win in college, and he doesn't have to work until 2027.
Is his money guaranteed? He just signed a new contract not too long ago with the Cardinals.
But there's a little bit of issues because people are trying to get to talk to him, and he took a one-way trip to Thailand, and so he's not interested in coaching. And there were a lot of coaches, and the sad thing is the assistant coaches that get fired, obviously when the head coach. But when you're making $6 or $7 million as a head coach and even more, right. You say, well, if I can't find a job, I'll sit here. These other coaches are scrambling to find a job.
Absolutely, yeah. And the guys that the head coaches usually go get an offensive or defensive coordinator job.
Yeah, just like Nathaniel Hackett is interviewing for the New York Jets for their offensive coordinator job. Yeah. So you're right. And then Vic Fangio interviewed with the Atlanta Falcons for their defensive coordinator job. So you're exactly right. There's some of these coaches don't get a second chance.
Larry Smith need to cut his beard off and look a little younger. Maybe he can get an interview for a defensive coordinator job because he's looking like grandpa on the sideline. You got to win games.
Yeah, that's true.
You got to look the part.
Let me ask you this question. Dan Quinn has requested to interview him for Indianapolis and the Denver Broncos on Friday. What do you think about a coach? And I love Dan. I've known Dan. He coached my son. Mm-hmm. But what do you think about requesting to speak to coaches when they're in the playoffs?
I never did like that. I think you go ahead and let them finish the course, finish the run, finish the playoff. They got a huge responsibility. Dallas got a big week against the 49ers. Mm-hmm. Let them focus on their defense and what their obligations are right now. You can wait 2 or 3 more. It's 3 more weeks, 4 more weeks. Wait.
That's what but I would think the whole coaching for everybody should wait 2 or 3 more weeks. I think so too. There need to be some limitation and guidelines. If the season over for some of these other coaches, go ahead and bring them in and have your interviews and things like that. But Dan Quayle, he turned down some jobs last year. Yeah. And D'Amico Ryan.
Yeah,
Even Brian Greasy.
Right.
Brian Greasy is getting some off. I mean, it's interesting to see some of these coaches and young minority coaches are getting things. Let me ask you this question on that. This is a good one. Do you think they're going after young minority coaches because of what happened with Brian Flores and that suit? And they're saying these guys are interviewing, they're afraid that the older, other than Jim Caldwell and then Brian Flores they requested to interview him for the Cleveland and Browns, but they hired Jim Schwartz. Yeah. But do you think that's all contributed to what happened when Flores sued the NFL?
I think that's part of it. And I think, now that you want to make sure that some of these teams don't have to do it. I mean, it's just a matter of time when they're going to do it. But I think it's coming. I think you're going to see more of it. And I just think I always have said you don't hire somebody because of their skin color, first of all.
That's right. I agree.
You hire people on what they know, what they bring to the table. You interview them deep depth. I mean, just continue to interview them, get to know them. And I think, just like yourself, I mean, you coach. I mean, you could probably coach. I coach a majority of the people that's coaching the NFL because of your knowledge, your experience, and your know-how, your sons, just the things that you know. And the people that you've been around your whole career, And I just think too, when you can take all that into account, those are the people that you want to come in and lead the truth and showcase your talent. I just think too many of these guys are put in these positions and not qualified.
Yeah, and I was thinking about all this stuff, and I'm thinking about going back into coaching. And I'm going to coach the Minnesota Vikings. I'm going to be a quarterback coach. But then I started thinking again about it. Wait. I started thinking about it again. And I don't know if I want to coach Kirk Cousins because he's a coach killer. And he might kill me.
We talked about that last week. In fact, I ain't seen no comment from Jason because Jason gonna owe me a golf round.
Jason was he was so disappointed that he's in Cabo now.
Well, you tell Jason he owed me a golf round.
That's right.
And I want to go play at Cowboys, and I'm gonna hit the damn ball down on the star.
Woo! Jason was hurt. He was hurt when the Vikings.
He won't listen to me. I know football.
I had to tell him. I said, Jason, the Vikings, Kirk Cousins. But Kirk Cousins wasn't the only reason. But he did mess up at the end on that fourth down play.
But you know, another thing too. That just goes. This right here. This is right here. This is my point. Now this is where good coaches come in at. When you know that they're gonna double a Jefferson.
Yeah.
And you don't know how to get around that. I mean, Thielen was catching the ball.
Yeah, he was.
But my point was they don't know how to use the tight end. They don't know how to put people in motion. They don't know how to, But the Giants defense, you got to give the Giants credit. The Giants defense, man, they had a great game plan.
Shoot, Dexter Lawrence,
he controlled the whole line of scrimmage.
Yeah. He got the worst call I've ever seen on intentional grounding. I mean, not intentional grounding, roughing the quarterback. That was pathetic.
That almost gave the Vikings hope to tie the game.
Yeah.
That really did.
That was pathetic. He rolled over and had Cousins on him.
Now, this is what I'm going to propose to the NFL. I'm going to see if I can get on the rules committee. Mm-hmm. I'm going to see if I can come in and help with these referee calls. And you know what we need to do? I need to implement finding these refs like you find players. You stick them with a price tag of bad calls, don't know what the heck you're doing, and then hey, in the mail this week you got an email from the NFL committee team that you're fined for making that one call, blah blah blah. And
they find players, don't they?
Change the game.
They find players. They should have players at the positions that these things normally happen at, the holding calls, the offense, and they can explain to them what you're doing in those positions. DBs have a DB. Well, shoot, if they want to improve the game, because the game is going to the worst way. This is not the same game.
It's not.
Yeah.
It's not. And you want to have integrity of the game, and you want to make it fun, but you want the fans to be excited about what they come to watch. They come to watch some fun, action, competition, no craziness. No, not to call. You can call holding, but I'm just saying certain things in certain times of the game they shouldn't be able to do. The one thing that I like, the last 2 minutes of the game, they usually have to go to the to the replay booth and all that type of stuff. And it at the point now that you just have to shake your head at some of the calls.
Yeah. There was a play in the Cowboys game, and which was interesting is that this was a hold. And they admitted the guy they had, I forgot who was commentating for the officials, said, oh, well, he said this, oh, well, yes, it was a hold, but the umpire is looking at 5 guys. He missed that one. And I'm like, you need to put another referee out there if it's 5 is too many for him. Exactly.
And I think, too, you might have to put an age, and I'm not trying to be prejudiced about age, but you have to put guys through physical training. Are they able to run? Are they able to keep up with what's going on? Because the game is so fast, as you know. I thought that football field it is fast, but I do have to give these referees credit for being on top of a lot of things, because it'll blow your mind. You stand on the sideline and see this game played.
There is a referee that used to be a Pac-12 referee, but he played for the Dallas Cowboys. His name is keep Jones. Oh, there he is. There goes my boy. He stood up. I told you he'd stand up. You still in Cabo, Jason?
Jason, I want to play. You owe me a round of golf at the Cowboys golf course, and you let me know. You let me know. So Jim and I can come out there and we'll play.
Good. Jason, oh, man.
Now, I felt so sorry for you, Jason. I said, man.
He lying, Jason. He lying.
I just can't wait. I just can't wait to win tonight.
Oh, he lying, Jason.
I'm drinking Starbucks too.
Jason.
Congratulations, Byron.
Oh, man.
But you know what? You're a great fan. And you know, one of the things that Jim and I talked about before the season started, we gave the Vikings their prop, and we said the Vikings will be one of the teams to watch.
Yeah.
They made the final 14.
Congratulations on that. And they're going to be better next year. It doesn't look like Thielen will be back. His wife don't want him to take a pay cut. They want him to take a pay cut. They're negotiating with Justin Jefferson now. They're starting to break open. There's obviously no agreement, but they're negotiating with him now, Jason, to keep him as a Viking.
And he got to be paid in the top 2 receivers.
Yeah. And then Kirk Cousins, well, they stuck with him.
Kirk Cousins, I'm gonna see if Kirk gonna come to the leadership meeting this year in Hawaii. We got to be in Hawaii this year.
Oh, that's right.
If Kirk Cousins be there, I'm gonna have a long talk with him, and then I'll let you and Jason know what we talked about, and then next year I'm gonna bet on it. But he got to have a conversation with me.
Oh my goodness! But I thought the Vikings would make it one more round, but when they were playing the Giants, I knew it was over because they just barely beat the Giants the first game.
They barely beat them the first time.
Yeah.
Giants played some good disciplined football. That's what you got.
They really did,
Yeah.
and I did mention this quite a few times about Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones might be the most underrated quarterback in the National Football League. He is not. He is extremely intelligent. He's extremely competitive, and he's extremely everything you can say. He got so many pluses. He was just under the wrong. He is similar to Josh Allen, and he might be smarter than Josh Allen. I'm not saying
one of the things that I love, and you're correct. You're absolutely correct on all of that. And I'm just going to add this. He seems so more relaxed and mature and under control on all the situation. He's not hurrying his throws. He got his mind made up. He look out coverages, and then he real precise on what he does. And then some of the play calling, some of the things that they were doing really set him up for success. And that's team football. And, you know, at the end, he hit number 86 right in the hand, and they would have locked the game down.
Yeah.
Perfect pass. But you know, that's football. You're gonna drop some. But my point is, you're absolutely right. Daniel Jones needs to get a new contract with the Giants.
See, but the difficult thing is there's got to be him and Saquon Barkley are going to have to take less to stay with the Giants. You can't get them both, and that's really hard. Well,
they might need to do what they did with Lawrence Taylor. You know, Lawrence Taylor got a check from the Giants in 1999. I mean, his money kept rolling. But my point is,
like Bobby Bonilla.
Yeah, you just got to be creative on how you do it. But I think you got. It's a way to keep them both there. Yeah,
but that's the problem you run into because you got two guys that are a big part of your offense, and you got to figure out how to keep both of them. But to their point is they're young at other positions except the wide receivers. And
they got to get wide receiver. Yeah,
they got to get wide receivers.
Yeah,
but you can't. I wouldn't go out in the open market because you see what happened with Golladay, and they've tried it with not Christian Kirk. The one they got that went to baseball from Notre Dame.
I forget who that was.
But
I do want to give Hodges some credit. Number 18.
Oh yeah, he got cut from Buffalo.
And James. I mean,
yeah.
Those guys have stepped up and have been a spark plug for the offense. And what's good about that, you can't scout those guys because you didn't have a long history of them being on the football field.
Yeah.
And now they playing great football. Once a player play with confidence, you don't know what you're getting the results of what you see.
The ball, what he's doing what Jimmy Johnson did.
Yeah.
He's looking at them and he's teaching them, but he's letting them play their game. He's not teaching them that you got to do it this way.
Right.
You do what you do best. And those coaches, when they can get there, Dan Quinn does that.
Yeah. Exactly right. Yeah.
And they let the players play because everybody has different talents and different abilities. Same thing's happening on defense with Wink Martindale, who is interviewing for the Indianapolis Colts job. I'm telling you right now, I'm calling it. The New York Giants will beat Philadelphia on Saturday. I'm telling you. And I'll tell you why. First of all, Jalen Hurts is not 100%. Darnell Holmes' father played with me at Buffalo, Derek Holmes. He was a running back. He was a very talented running back.
Mm-hmm.
But I just think when you play a team that you played twice and you beat them pretty good both times, they're going to come back with a chip on their shoulder. And that sits somewhere in your mind that, oh, we got this. Who's we going to play next? Are we going to play Dallas or San Francisco? And we'll talk about that a little later because some interesting things are happening.
Right.
Game, but I think the Giants have the advantage. First of all, I don't think they can stop Barkley. I think you got to remember Dallas scored 40 points on him. You can say it was Minshew guard, but you heard we've had to hear about this Minshew magic or whatever they call it. And I think that the Giants are going to beat them.
Well, one of the things that I also looked at, I'm looking at the offensive line and the defensive line. They are playing so much better.
Yeah.
And I think too, that might be the advantage. I mean, just thinking about the way and the consistency of now you're getting timing down, you're getting your confidence, and now you seem like everything is gelling together. I mean, It's like a well-oiled machine. And I think, when you look at that, you got to start looking at that. You got to start looking at the coaching staff, and you got to start watching the special team.
Yeah.
But that defensive line, you mentioned it earlier.
Yeah.
That defensive line with the Giants is just as strong as the Eagles line.
Yeah, Leonard Williams is he's a different player. And then you got the linebackers that have been playing really well for him.
Yeah.
Martindale is playing that Baltimore defense where they're going to be up in your face. And they're going to make you make decisions. Now, can they stop? The key is stopping A.J. Brown.
That's the key.
Because A.J. Brown is who changed the Philadelphia Eagles. You can say all this, but they did.
He's one of the players that's been the biggest impact on the offensive success for this year. No doubt.
I agree.
He's up. Him and Deebo Samuel are two of the wide receivers that's just versatile and make things happen on the football field. I know that.
Yeah, and I agree about that. Now, speaking about A.J. Brown, over in Tennessee, one of your former teammates' son, Mo Carthon's son, Rand Carthon, is now the GM at Tennessee. It was interesting. Tennessee's got to give up 2 third-round choices to get him. I don't understand that one because they made him the general manager.
Man, that might be what Tennessee needed because Tennessee got one of the best coaches in the league. They've been one of the most competitive and successful team in the last 10 years, 10 seasons. And I'm telling you, it's all about from top to bottom. When you put people in those GM office and player personnel directors and all of that, that's what you start looking at. And I can see Tennessee already finna get ready to turn that ship around.
Yeah. And here's the interesting thing for me, thinking about all this stuff, is Maurice Carthon, and we worked together in Dallas, his dad. And I love him like a brother. Me and we are real. He lives out in Arkansas, and we're like brothers. But he'll tell you this, is if I think Vrabel may be a little like Parcells, because Parcells used to say this all the time: if you want me to make the dinner, then you got to let me go buy the groceries. And then all it meant was basically, if you want me to build the best team, then I have to be able to draft the people I want.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So Vrabel, and the problem is can Vrabel and Carthon go somewhere and understand each other, what they want and want to accomplish? Because that's the thing. If you got a personality like Bill Parcells, they're not going to. George Young and Bill Parcells didn't get along.
They didn't get along at all.
They didn't get along because he wanted George Young's job. So you got to understand.
George Young know that with the big head.
Yeah.
With the big head. Boom.
That's true. But that's the thing you got to understand. And for Carthon to be successful in Vrabel, they got to have common ground. And the one thing Parcells did good and did very well was he had a prerequisite at every position of what he wanted at that position.
He knew what he wanted.
Yeah. And that's what you had to look at.
Yeah.
But here was Mo was saying, back when Parcells was coaching, the majority of the league went to 3-4s.
Right.
Now I started thinking about it. I said, how many teams run 3-4s now? Not very many. I think Pittsburgh, but mostly are 4-3 teams now. And Mo said that's the changes.
So for all our viewers, we want to clarify what that means. 3-4 mean 3 down linemen and 4 linebackers.
And 4-3 means 4 down linemen and 3 linebackers.
Exactly. And Parcells was master of the 3-4. Yeah. He loved those linebackers. He had to have his linebackers.
And they had to be big. The Harry Carsons, the Gary Reasons, the Lawrence Taylors. He had to have those big linebackers, the Pepper Thompson.
Exactly.
So he had to have big guys. So that's the thing.
Yeah, I spoke at a school today over in Fort Worth. First thing that came out of this guy's mouth, he said, "You played with Lawrence Taylor?" I said, "Yeah, I did." They was happy. They said, "Like, when you say LT, that's a player there."
Yeah, he was a special player. Yeah, LT was a special player. There's no doubt. I'm looking up the games for this week. We haven't talked really about.
Well, it was a wild card weekend. Now it's going to be a divisional weekend.
Yeah. And the first game of the day at 3:30 is Jacksonville at Kansas City.
I'm just going to call out one name, or a couple of names: Mahomes and Travis Kelce. That's all I need to say.
Well, here's the thing.
What's your thing?
Doug Peterson, I think he's from Andy Reid's tree.
Absolutely, yeah.
So he's kind of got an idea of how Andy Reid's going to attack you.
Absolutely,
I could be wrong on Doug Peterson, but Kansas City's defense is what gets them in trouble. It's not their offense. We know how talented their offense.
Yeah,
and Jacksonville has made a complete turnaround on defense. Trayvon Walker is playing like the number 1 choice, and they have some talent on it. And Trevor Lawrence, he makes mistakes, and he can get you in trouble, but he also can get you out of trouble.
Man, anybody throw 4 interceptions, then turn around and bring your team back, you got to take your head off. You got to take your head off that young man. Because he could either just got in the dumps and just, man, I don't know what happened, blah, blah, blah. But, man, he's hung in there and rallied the troops. And I had predicted the Chargers to win that game. Mm-hmm. And they just don't know how to play third and fourth quarter, I guess. And Man, you just gotta give credit to Doug Peterson.
You thought I was crazy when I picked Jacksonville.
No, I didn't. I wanted to pick Jacksonville, but the first half I was like, boy, I called this game right.
I knew Jacksonville was gonna win it. Duval County, Duval. My guy Todd Washington. We worked together in the AAF, and he's the offensive line coach for him. Duval County. But,
you got to give credit to the Jacksonville Jaguars. I mean, what a game, what a comeback. That speaks volume. That just goes to show you, in football, you never stop. You keep going. You keep going. And
it's kind of ironic because the guy that fueled that was a former Cowboy, not Cowboy, but Giant, Everett Ingram.
Yeah. Oh,
they thought he was a bust.
Yeah. He had a great Pro Bowl career. I mean, he really playing like he should have been playing in New York. I just think either the coaches he wasn't coached right, he wasn't right in the right terminology offensively. But now he playing with some wit, man. I'm telling you.
Sometimes, especially as coaches, you make it too complicated because it's still about running, catching, tackling. That's just the honest
thing. Say it again. I want to hear it again.
Catching, tackling.
And running.
Yeah, and running.
Running, tackling, catching.
Yeah.
Tackling, catching. And that's not about, and we ain't talking about being on the bottom of the pile. We talking about running across the middle and making things happen.
Oh, my goodness.
But that was an inside joke to Jim. I wanted to say, we talked about the bottom of the pile, because so much happened on the football field. But absolutely, Jim, you're absolutely right.
We can't even talk about that on here. I know we can say what we want, but that bottom of the pile, because they grab them for things that you could lose your kids over or not have any kids over.
It's a serious affair. That's for sure.
Yeah, they're serious down there in them piles. But I'm going to go with Kansas City, too.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I just think, congratulations, Jaguar. And, you won't have to have the first pick in the draft, blah, blah, blah. That says that you guys can graduate to the next level. And so that's really good. And, you got a good coach now. You got the coach that you need.
Yeah. But it's interesting. I'm wondering, and I'm just wondering, is Doug Peterson stealing the signals or having somebody stealing signals?
Doug Peterson, he was a backup quarterback for so long. And some of the most successful coaches are backup quarterback that played in the league.
That's true.
So he might know the secret. He got the secret sauce.
Yeah. But I just was wondering about that. Is he stealing signals?
He might be.
To the Cowboys, they went out.
You know what? He gonna put in a special play this week. I tell you that.
Oh yeah. I hope they don't run that ring around the Posey or whatever, ring around the Rosie again, because somebody gonna get hurt. That's disrespectful.
That's a crazy play. Exactly. Yeah.
Now 7:15 Saturday night. New York Football Giants against Philadelphia.
The one thing that I've always been intrigued about playing football, whenever you play a team 3 times in one season, there's something about that.
Yeah.
And then the team that beat you twice.
Yeah.
And the third time.
It's what? They beat them by double digits, right?
Yeah. And so I think this is going to be a whole different case scenario. I think that the Giants see themselves differently.
Yeah.
And it kind of reminded me of the Super Bowl season in 2007 when the Giants played the New England Patriots. Mm-hmm. And everybody just knew the Patriots going to go undefeated that year.
Yep.
And the Giants just got long history. They got some right coaches now. They got something that most teams never had. And that's just that blue and that the G-Man factor. The G-Man factor make you get up in the morning and growl and
Oh,
get up out the bed, you hit the ground running, and that's
because it ain't no make you ground.
Saturday night.
Your stomach's ground because you got a stomach ache.
Saturday night gonna be a growling. I mean, the East Coast, you might as well just throw the blue over that green. I'm telling you now. And then the red mean we're gonna kick you in the butt. So
I might have to change it. I'm gonna have to look at it, but no, I think the Giants will win.
It's gonna be a good game, and I just think it's gonna go down to that fourth quarter.
Yeah, I think they can control Devontae Smith and Dallas Gardner. It's AJ Brown. They can't let him, and they got to make sure that they keep somebody doubling him because AJ Brown can change games.
And really, and with all kicked aside, though, the NFC East division, every team this year, I had to take my hat off.
Division in pro football.
They play good football.
You can talk about Buffalo. You can talk about Kansas City. NFC East is the best division.
They play ball this year. They play ball.
Yeah. So I'm going to go with New York on this one.
But you know who I'm going with. I ain't wearing this.
Yeah, I knew you were going with
I know I look good, but I'm not wearing this hat to just be wearing it. I'm wearing it because we talking about getting it done.
I'm going with New York on this one.
All right, that's good to hear. I mean, I ain't got to text you this weekend and tell you how you feel.
I'm just glad I don't have to mess with Minnesota this week, Jason.
So we put that horn to rest. I got choked up on that horn.
It went. That's how that horn went. He choked on his own horn. Okay.
Well, I just loved it. I loved it. I'm excited about playing golf. I got a free round of golf sometime now in the future. So.
Yeah, it's reasonable at Cowboys country golf club. So.
Oh yeah, we having fun over there.
Yeah. So here we go. 2:00 on Sunday. Cincinnati at Buffalo.
Well, first of all, I love Cincinnati. I got respect for them, but they got the O-line problem. They ain't got the O-line been hurt. One of their tackles this week got hurt, and so I'm thinking that they're gonna be short for a short staff. But let me tell you a secret. Josh Allen is 4-0 at home in the playoffs.
Yeah, I knew that.
And he's finna be 5-0.
Yeah. Yeah. Buffalo didn't play well last week, but you got to understand this about Buffalo and Miami. That has been a rivalry for years. It's like the old Cowboys Redskins. Are either one of you impressed with Josh Allen or Joe Burrow? Impressed with both of them. Both of them are, but I think right now Buffalo has a little bit more weapons than, and I'm not saying Jamar Chase, obviously, Boyd and Higgins are great, and then you got Mixon and Pirine. But I think Josh Allen, with his mobility, is going to be the difference. And that's what's going to get Buffalo over the top. That's where Josh Allen is different from Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow is a traditional pocket passer, where Josh Allen is a lot more mobile. I mean, and that's just the truth of it, fact. So I think Josh Allen has got the advantage there. I think his receivers are going to make plays. I mean, Diggs, Gabe Davis, the tight end. I mean, they got some talent. And the running backs have been running well. So as soon as they got Dalvin Cook's brother, Zach Cook, he's been running well.
Yeah. Singletary. Yeah.
I mean, and that's the thing I think is going to put them over the top in this game. They're going to have to play against Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. Another one of my friends is a wide receiver coach for Cincinnati, and he's a heck of a Troy Walters. He should be he should be one of those guys getting interviewed. I'm kind of shocked that he's not getting interviewed. So,
well, it's going to be a good game. I mean, these teams going to know each other real well. They match up well. And
then you got to remember, Cincinnati was up 7-3.
7-3, yeah. But I think what's going to be the equalizer, what's going to be the balance, they're going to tip the scale. It's going to be that home field advantage for Buffalo. I think Buffalo just don't hardly lose at home. That's something that they don't do. So yeah. I'm getting the advantage to Buffalo.
Yeah. Here and then the last game in the divisional round is at it's 6:30 here, and it's the Dallas Cowboys at San Francisco. A couple of things I want to tell you. The Vegas is giving Dallas a 3-point advantage. ESPN has Dallas 52.5 to win and 47% for San Francisco, which I find interesting. Vegas has got Dallas winning. And so I said, why would they do that? But when you go back and look at San Francisco's season, then you find out why they're going that way. San Francisco played Kansas City, which is similar to Dallas, which is an explosive offense, and they lost 44-20. San Francisco lost to Chicago, remember the first game of the year? And they lost to the Atlanta Falcons. This will be probably the most talented offense that San Francisco's faced. And I think their defense, if they play to that level. Now, the problem when you play San Francisco is, obviously, we know Shanahan is the son of Mike Shanahan, and they're running the old Denver Broncos plays, those zone plays, and they're hard to defend. But what they do better than every team in the NFL in the running game is they disguise it. They'll run the same play out of different looks, and it's difficult to play against. They're going to have to, and they got to deal with, just like you said about the teams that we're facing, they got to deal with McCaffrey, they got to deal with Deebo Sanders, Brandon Ayuk, Kittle, and that's going to make it difficult. But to the same note, they're going to have to deal with Dallas too on some things, because Dallas finds a way. The one thing Mike McCarthy does is he schemes you. He finds out what you did, and they do all that analytical. I was over there. They're doing all that analytical stuff.
He was over there last week, wasn't he?
Yeah. And they find out what you struggle with, and that's how they attack you. The problem with playing San Francisco is they talk about Warner and Bosa, but San Francisco might have one of the best interior guys, defenses, those two D linemen inside, and that's hard. Yeah. Now you can't run inside.
Yeah.
And,
well, what do you think about Dallas offensive line?
I think Jason Peters won't be able to play this week, so they'll move Tyler Smith back out, and they'll have McGovern in there. I think that makes him weaker, but Jason Peters hurt his hip, so he'll be gone. And they played good last week. Did you know Pollard had 77 yards?
Yeah, we ran well.
Yeah. The problem is
we bring a different dynamic to the offense.
Yeah. The problem is.
Go ahead.
No, all I was going to say was the problem is they got to get more out of Zeke.
But Zeke, I think Zeke was playing more of a backer role last week. Maybe he got to get his head out of his butt.
Yeah.
And continue to think he's the number one. He's the number one back still, I think. But he just got to. But it was a different game plan too for against Tampa.
And you have to have a different game plan against San Francisco.
Yeah. But, this is going to be the game of the week. I really feel like this is going to be some exciting game. I mean, I think whoever wins this game will probably win the Super Bowl.
You think so?
Yeah, I do think so. And
now, they beat Dallas. San Francisco beat Dallas in Dallas last year, 23-17.
I remember that game. Yeah. And but I think Dallas is a different team. I think what they needed was a shot in the arm, and that's what they got when they played Tampa Bay. But Tampa Bay really ain't that much of a
they can't run the ball.
Yeah, they can't run the ball. So now you're looking at, you got to look at special teams.
Yeah.
You always got to look at the interior line. You always got to look at the coaches. You know, I just think this game got some of the best coaches in the National Football League.
I do too.
I do think the secondary gonna get tested.
Oh, no question. With Debo and Ayuk and the other, the third receiver. But
I think Dallas is missing one player in that secondary.
The same point, I think Las Vegas exposed some of the things on how to attack San Francisco, because you got to remember, Las Vegas lost 34-31 with a backup quarterback, Jason Stidham. So they exposed some things about Kansas City.
And then this another thing. Purdy ain't go get a chance to beat Michael Parsons. And I think that might be a difference maker right there, because Michael Parsons is no joke, man. He found a way to get in there and let the quarterback, he's coming. Every time he runs.
The problem, and I agree with you 100%, but the right tackle, who does he go against all week? Nick Bosa. And so he's seeing a guy like Micah Parsons. What they're gonna have to do is,
but they don't go against each other no more in practice.
Yeah, that's true. But what I told them is, you got to squeeze on a guy like Brock Purdy. You got to squeeze the pocket. You cannot have guys just running inside and giving an edge, because he's athletic enough, and he's going to be like Dak. He's going to get a first down here and there when you thought you had him. You got to be smart on how you attack.
Yeah.
Purdy. Make him beat you inside the pocket. Don't let him get outside the pocket. You know, that's the thing. And they Jaron Curse is going to play, so that'll help them. And they got some people coming back. I'm concerned about, like you said, their secondary is going to get tested.
What about the pitch I sent you before we got on the show tonight? What about the kicker? What about the kicker for the Cowboys?
Oh my goodness, Jerry Jones is not going to be the kicker.
Man, I ain't never seen a kicker miss the field goal the way they did last week.
4 extra points. Kickers are different.
They different, but at least move the ball to the other hash mark. Give them.
Yeah, I was wondering why they didn't do that.
But you know what? This game gonna be played on grass too. That game was on grass last week.
Yeah, but they said the Cowboys can't win it on grass, and they won.
But I'm asking you, will that affect the kicker?
No, I don't think it will. Okay. I think he'll have a tremendous week. But, you know, we've all been through it where we've had games you're like, what was I thinking? Why did this happen? You were awful. And then you recovered from them.
Yeah.
And that's what you do.
Yeah, and I want to say this about Dak Prescott. You know, since week 11, he threw an interception every week.
Yeah.
And he finally broke out of that funk and had 4 touchdowns, 25 completions, and then he rushed for another touchdown. So I want to give Dak congratulations, because these people down here at Dallas have been eating them up. They've been eating them up.
And then the peanut gallery back there says, sorry, Jim, Dallas is in trouble. Dallas leads the league with 66 turnovers. So don't worry, we'll get some turnovers. Don't worry about that. That's coming.
Well, I'm gonna think the 49ers are gonna beat the Cowboys by 3 points.
I am taking the Cowboys. And the Cowboys will win this game, and everybody's gonna be shocked. Because they're going to think that, you know, Purdy magic, and this is kind of like Minshew magic. And the one thing my biggest concern is the running game because it's old Denver Broncos and that zone blocking.
Well, the one thing about the 49ers, whenever they win their division, they usually go to the Super Bowl.
Usually, but who stopped them? Them Cowboys.
It's gonna be good. It's gonna be fun to watch.
Cowboys.
It's gonna be fun to watch.
Yeah. Do I need to go get the rings and the hat?
Let me see what I'm writing this down. 30, 31, 49ers.
And Cowboys 37.
28 Cowboys.
No. It's going to be 37 Cowboys, 31 49ers. This is old school right here for them because they were always high-scoring games.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's gonna be a good game, and I'm glad that we're getting closer to that Super Bowl.
Yeah, I am too. I am. This is going to be fun. I mean, there's some good teams in here. And
yeah.
So you're going to not say the Cowboys can't win, but you're going to pick Philly. I mean, you're going to pick the New York Giants to win.
Yeah, pick New York Giants. Because really, just think about this, Jim. This would be good. If the Giants win and the Cowboys win, me and you going to
That's
the
right. That's
going
right.
to the next game. We go.
That's right.
So really, I really want the Cowboys to win because the Giants can come down here and play right here in Dallas, and we can.
That's right. They're right up there in the suites. Be up there in the suites.
What you think about that? So that's a possibility. That's a possibility.
Yeah, that's a big possibility. That is a big possibility. But the Giants, I think the Giants are going to win. I really do.
And I said the 49ers, but I do think the Cowboys have a chance to win. I think this is almost it. This is almost even, really. And
now look, here's another thing to think about too. Look at the divisions. Who did the 49ers play in this? Arizona Cardinals, what we know was they were terrible this year. Los Angeles Rams, they struggled.
They quit.
Seattle, I mean, Seattle was the only one that made it to the playoffs, but they were okay with
They barely made the playoff.
Yeah. So think about that. The Cowboys, who did they have to play? Obviously, the Giants, Philadelphia, and even Washington.
Yeah.
So that's the thing you have to look at.
Well, I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna say this, and it might happen again. The highest rated NFL game this year was the Cowboys and the Giants.
Yeah.
And more people watched that game than any game in the National Football League this year.
Yeah, and 4 of the 5 top-rated games had the Cowboys in them.
Yeah. So it'll be befitting if the Cowboys play the Giants here at Texas Stadium.
Yep.
The Giants, I'm going to that game, and the Giants go out there, and we're gonna win it, and we're
going to the game.
And then we're gonna go to Arizona.
Yep, we're gonna go to Arizona. We going to Arizona, and we'll thank the Giants for it.
You always messing up the sinners, man. So who?
Wow, we're getting to the end of the show. But it's gonna be a good weekend. They're gonna be competitive games, and we're gonna be. May the best team wins.
Gonna be good. It's gonna be exciting. Now you're talking about spending that Super Bowl, and that's what football is all about. You prepare yourself last off season to be in this week.
This is where you want to be. It truly is the survival of the fittest. I'm excited about it. I'm gunned up for it. I got to go see my daughter.
You got some guns?
I got guns. Look, don't get scared. I had to unload them to come in the house.
Hey, Jim gun was on the bottom of the pile, y'all. Don't
look at that. Woo! Oh, don't get scared now. But hey, it's that time. We got to get going. And, me, you, and our producer text during the games, and we'll be texting. I got to go down, check on my daughter. She's having surgery Friday. And
we wish her well.
And, hey, let's have fun and let's go.
Let's go, G-Man. Let's go. Beat them Eagles. Beat them Dirty Birds.
And beat those 49ers. All right. Don't let Herm Edwards pick one up on you, though. All right?
I know it. Really. Herm, he'll take it back.
All right, then.
We'll see you guys. Have a good week.
Guys, have a good week.